Hi there, teachers. It's a Tuesday, so that must mean it's teaching tip day. So previously I've spoken about things we can do in the classroom, but today what I want to talk about is what we do before we start, namely placement tests. Now, if you're working solo or if you're working for a language school, it's likely that you've got groups of students, so not just one-on-ones. Now, sometimes in my experience, a client will approach me and they'll say, Jackie, I'd like you to teach 8 students. And I go, or 8 employees. I go, hey, that's fantastic, great. And the client says, and I want them in one group. Okay, now really what that is the client's dream, because they see 8 employees, maybe they work in the same department, and because they work together, the client might think they can learn English together. But you and I, we know it doesn't always work out that way, because it could be one of these particular students has an advanced level of English, whereas someone might be in the middle and another might be a near complete beginner. And as we know as teachers, that can be a disaster in the classroom. Well, I prefer not to teach mixed ability groups. Perhaps you do, fantastic, but not me. So what I do in this situation is I say to my client, okay, fantastic. Before we lock in the teaching arrangements and before we lock in the contract, let's do a placement test and let's see where these course participants, where these students lie with their English ability. And after we know that, then we can talk about groups. Now, it makes a lot of sense. The client is normally very happy to do this, and then you administer the test. But there are so many tests out there. Which one do we choose? Okay, I've been doing this a long time and I've experimented with different types of tests, and I've nutted it down to about 3 or 4 favorites. The one I predominantly use if I don't have lots of students to grade, it's the one you can find online from English Unlimited. Now, I'll pop a link down the bottom so you can see. So what you get is a 10-page test, and there are, 120 questions. And there is a single answer sheet that I have put together myself. So all I get back is this, a single sheet with the answers, as you can see here on it. And this is just my system. I highlight what answer is correct so I can see a flow here. And we see, oh my gosh. And here I've grouped them, who gets better and better and better. So what you start to see here when you're using this answer sheet is a flow of answers. We've got, where are we? Starter questions, the first 20, elementary, pre-intermediate, and so on. And as you go through the test papers, you're seeing a flow of where the knowledge lies and where the gaps are. And as a teacher, you can start to get a feel for where you're going to be feeding in and filling those gaps. So that's English Unlimited. I'll pop another few links down here for you for another test I use, which comes from Cornelsen. Now, Cornelsen is a German publisher. I'm located in Germany, and so sometimes I use the Cornelsen test. You might be asking, what's the difference between the English Unlimited and the Cornelsen? Good question. At the end of the day, there really isn't much difference. You'll find that the tests which come from publishing houses are generally linked to a book that they have to offer. So the English Unlimited test is, of course, linked to the English Unlimited series of books. You don't need to use those books, but certainly if you want to, this helps you out. Before I move on to the online test, which I prefer to use to place my students, I'll let you know of one more thing. These tests are focusing on the written abilities and the reading abilities of your students, your new students. What about speaking? Haha, good question. Glad you asked. So with English Unlimited, you get the 10-page written test, which is everything's free, but they also have some suggested questions that you ask in a face-to-face meeting with your new student, and they have a special scoring system. So what you do is you combine the result from the written test and you combine your scores from a verbal test, and then you have an accurate idea of what level your new student actually is. Pretty fun, hey? Cool. All right. Now let's move on to an online test. If, for example, you either don't have any time to do the manual checking, or you've got a huge group and, again, don't have the time and really cannot be bothered. Oxford. My hot tip for you is the Oxford University Press online test. And I'll put a link right down there. Yep, there it is. Have a little look. This is pretty fantastic because the student can take the placement test and you get results in different fields. I haven't done it in a while because I've been doing these guys. But you get results for their knowledge of English and for grammar and so on. And the result comes out as one of the CEFR levels, the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, one of these levels. Fantastic. And I believe they also have listening exercises in their test. And that is amazing because a test which is looking at your speaking, your reading, your listening and your writing abilities, that is a pretty darn comprehensive test. So you can choose the test which is best suited to you. The Oxford test costs around about €5 per test. You could charge that to your client, depends on your arrangement. The English Unlimited and the Cornelsen ones are free. You can just download them, print them, or you can send a link to your client. Once you've got these results, you're in a far better position to negotiate how many groups are appropriate, and also part of that is negotiating the price of your contract. So that's my top teaching tip for today. Don't go into a contract with a new client unless you know the English abilities of your new students. The added benefit, apart from everything else, is you're walking into that first lesson completely prepared. You're not going in blind. You know exactly how to speak with your students and how to pitch the training material, and you just make that first impression even more amazing. Okay, that's my tip for today. If you have any questions, please type a little message. You can send me an email through my website. That's no problem. And I hope to see you either here or in the new Facebook group we have called The Nest. Okay, have a good day. See you soon. Bye.